Another question I receive quite frequently is I mention to our parents, our stakeholders, our community that we work on the individual needs of the children. And a lot of people ask me, well, how do you do that? How can you possibly do that? And how we do it is through designing our curriculum. And some teachers do it a little bit differently, but everybody does differentiated instruction in some way in their classrooms. A real common way is by doing small group instruction. So even though our classes are already small at 16, there might be times during language arts where the teachers are reading with two children that are at the same level. Or three children that might be at the same level and also on a topic that they're interested in, such as a little group of third grade girls, third and fourth grade girls that are interested in horseback riding. So they might be reading a chapter book about horses because that's their interest and their level. So oftentimes in our classrooms during the language arts block, you will see small group instruction within the classroom. The other children are doing meaningful things, not just busy work. They're doing other literacy centers during that time, a writer's workshop, different things where they can work at their own pace. So a lot of times they'll have different spelling lists, so they'll be using their spelling list to work on some word studies. They'll be writing stories in their writer's workshop at their own level with different expectations. Some of our teachers have different editing sheets where it tells the children what types of things they have to look for in their writing versus somebody else. So the expectations might be different. We don't point it out to children as often as you would think, that but they just kind of know that this is the expectation we have for them. So it's nothing that we have to say out loud, just to make so that we don't make them feel too different. So that's going on in our math or in our language arts, but it's also going on in our math time. During our math instruction, we will teach math in a variety of ways. We'll teach it through our themes. So if we're doing some type of unit, maybe it's on the solar system and that's the theme for the class, then they'll do a lot of math activities that have to do with that theme. So not just science. So we're integrating our language arts and our math through our themes. But also we'll work in small math groups. We have a lot of different series that the teachers use, like Singapore math, and the teacher will have different math groups on Singapore at different levels. So she'll call them over when it's time for their math group. It's not by grade level, it's by ability level. And that can be flexible. Somebody can work at one level for a while and just really be doing outstanding and move up quickly into another level. So it's real flexible. So again, the children don't recognize that of what the different groups are. We don't say the high group, the low group, the medium group. We usually just call them by name, call them over to the table for their group work. And then we have a lot of online series that we have been buying for our iPads. So our iPads are wonderful. It's a way to individualize, again, differentiate the instruction. So the children can go on the iPad, maybe it's a math series that we've purchased, and they can log on under their account number and work on skills at their own level. There's a great program that we're using right now that we have some 6th and 7th grade students that are working on high school level math, and that iPad program lets us do that individually, so they can work at their own pace. Some might work faster than others. The teacher's always there to help facilitate, but it's a nice independent way for them to work on their own and come to the teacher when they need help, which is what they're going to have to do in high school and college anyway. So that's how we differentiate our instruction in the classrooms. Another great thing we do is we get to know our children right from the beginning, even sometimes from the year before. Some teachers have the same children for a few years, so we call it looping, and so then they know them right from the beginning. But they know what types of things they're working on. What are the goals for that child? It's almost like all of our kids have their own individual education plan, which is like an IEP that children would have in schools that have special needs or special learning styles. Our kids all have different learning styles, which kids everywhere do. So their little plan is just for them of things that they're working on. So then the teacher can gear her questions towards those children. So instead of the teacher, commonly in a traditional class, the teacher stands up, asks a question, different kids answer, usually the same kids answer all the time. This way the teacher almost does the reverse. She will think of the questions she wants to ask for that child from their what they need and what she wants to ask them about to check for their learning and measure their learning. And she'll do that by the questions she asks, not a general question to the whole class, but specific questions to specific kids. Sometimes they might make a little literacy pack on a different book, and different children will have different literacy packs. I know our social studies teacher in the upper middle school, she'll have different tests, different packets of information that they do. So different children, they might be working on all the same topic, like the Civil War, but there will be different groups on those topics, so that we can, if it's a 6th or 7th grade Common Core standard, but our children there are children in that room that are above and beyond that. She's going to not have them sit idle, and she's going to allow them to work at a higher level by asking higher level questions about that topic. So our expectations might be different for different children. And again, I said this before, but FAIR is giving everybody what they need, not giving everybody the same thing. So that's how we differentiate.